In this episode, we discuss aura readings. We describe what an aura actually is, look at things like aura photography, where aura readings come from, and things that are very similar.
Let's talk about what intuition really is.
Let's look at all the places intuition and ego show up in your life.
Let's share honestly.
Let's do the research.
I'm Jamie Hayhurst.
I'm Heather Wood.
This is the Intuitive Girls Guide.
Hey Jay.
Hey.
Have you ever had an aura reading?
Not an official one.
Okay,
yes, I have.
That's my same answer.
Yeah.
I've had people comment on my aura,
Yes.
but I have never officially paid for an aura reading.
No, I haven't either. I don't think I've ever seen that in real life.
No, I've seen people be like, you can get an aura photography.
Yes, that I've wanted to do.
Yes, we can do that.
Yes.
But I've never seen it just on its own.
Yep.
But I've been having some sort of intuitive work done and someone said something about my aura.
Yeah, same.
I have never had anyone tell me twice in a row the same color. We'll get to
I
that.
have.
Oh,
Yeah.
What color do they say for you?
I think it was like white and purple.
Okay, so more than one person has said white and purple is your aura color.
Yes. Color. Yes.
Interesting.
Other colors too.
But those are consistent.
Those have stuck out to me as I've heard it more than once.
Okay, that's super interesting.
Okay.
So that's what we're talking about today. Aura readings, auras, aura photography, all of it. Because we had some people asking about it. So here we are talking about it. Okay. So your aura is your energy field. I'm kind of hesitating here because I'm trying not to sound sassy about this. Because I don't actually feel sassy about this, but I don't know how to say it without sounding that way. Some people try to act as if these are different things. So they're saying your energy fields versus your aura, or they speak about auras like there's somehow a fancier version or something. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I do.
They are the same exact thing.
Just like grounding and regulating your nervous system are the same thing. Yes.
But so people like Jamie and I would use those terms interchangeably. I mean, honestly, I don't really use the term aura.
Me neither.
But I would use it the same as I would use energy field. But you'll hear other people say different than that. And I don't necessarily think that they're wrong, but I also don't really quite understand their difference.
Okay.
I think when I was researching, I was trying to see for the people who are saying that they were different, what was it? What are they commenting on? And so the best I could come up with is that people kind of describe aura as the visual element of your energy field.
Okay.
So when people are referring to aura, they're talking about what they can see in your energy field.
In the energy field.
Not necessarily what your aura feels like. I didn't see a lot of things written like that. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I do. Yes.
I hear this from your aura.
Yes. Yes, I know what you said. I know what you're meaning.
Okay, so I think when people use aura, most of the time when they're differentiating, they mean a visual of your energy field.
Got it.
Okay. Again, different people will say different things because there's no one dictionary for these terms.
That makes sense. Yeah,
but that's what I'm getting.
Okay.
Also, when people talk about vibes, vibes, let me be a huge nerd for a second. Are you ready? I mean, it's not a stretch.
Yeah.
Vibes are short for vibrations. Okay?
Yeah.
Which is what frequency measures.
Right.
Frequency is a measure of vibrations. So your energetic field or your auras are made up of vibrational frequencies. That's what's in them. So if you're reading someone's aura, you're reading their vibrational frequency, aka their vibes.
Yep.
Say you can have aura of a place. So if this place has bad vibes, you're saying the energy field of this place has a negative vibrational frequency or a vibrational frequency that I don't enjoy. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I know you're probably like, why are you splitting hairs with these terms?
No, I think it's important.
I especially think it's important because if you're going to catch red flaggy speak from people who are talking about intuitive things and do I pay them my money? Do I learn from them? Do I trust them?
Yes.
You want to kind of make sure they know what those terms are
Good point.
and are using them somewhat correctly.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I think you could sort of nitpick and say that aura would be different. I'm sure you're probably going to get there, so sorry to jump ahead.
No,
but
jump away.
I would say that auras are more of a clairvoyance.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're not clairvoyant,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't say like, you'd say the vibes are off or something feels weird or like something is off here. But if you don't see that visually,
Yes.
you wouldn't say like the aura is off here, right? So we're just used to hearing people speak about aura only visually.
Yes.
Where
and
there's like the other terms like sort of are more of umbrella terms.
yeah, because if aura is more of a visual thing,
Mhm.
you're not gonna then say the vibes here feel off. Like you'd say that, or this energy field feels
Right,
low or something,
Mhm.
because you're talking about feeling.
right.
So, but if you're talking about, oh, what a beautiful aura, you're talking about the visual. So you're
Yeah.
kind of only matching, like you're saying, the language to visual for aura.
Right, because I would never say the aura about anything because I'm not clairvoyant. You are though.
Right.
I am,
Right.
but in a very different way.
I don't really use the term as a clairvoyant. I don't really use the term aura because I don't see auras in the sense of color.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
again, it's just like a term that like I think some people listen, it's a very pretty word.
Mhm.
It's prettier than energetic field
Mhm.
or energy field. But it doesn't, to me it feels like I'm describing something too specific.
Agreed.
Where energy field I'm sort of like tapping into all of it.
Yes, because I can even tell when something's off about a person visually,
Yes.
but it's not through their aura.
No,
It's
it's not
just
the
like I'm
colors.
looking at you and something is off, and I know that something's off in the way I'm seeing you, but it's not the color around your body.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
that.
Exactly. So when I'm thinking of trying to describe an aura
Mhm.
or an energy field, the best comparison I could give would be to sort of like a radio frequency of a person.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
think your energy field, which is what we were talking about before with the vibes,
Right.
that's giving off like almost like a radio frequency. It's giving off a frequency.
Mhm.
And so when people like you and I are talking about picking things up,
Mhm.
we mean the frequency.
Yes.
And the aura is part of that. But
Mhm.
again, it feels like the visual part of the frequency.
Yeah, it's just like a vehicle through which you perceive the frequency.
Exactly. I'd like to read you 2 definitions of aura.
Okay.
I liked them both. They're both a
Okay.
little bit different. And you know I love a definition.
Mhm.
So the first one is the Oxford Dictionary definition of aura. And this one is the distinctive atmosphere or quality that seems to surround and be generated by a person, thing, or place.
Okay.
So again, doesn't that sound very visual?
Yes.
Okay. They say atmosphere.
Yeah.
I feel like kind of mediocre about that term being used, but I do understand the meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, how stuff works on that website when you look up aura, this is the definition they have. Auras are radiant energy fields surrounding our bodies, reflecting our inner states and offering insights into our personalities and well-beings.
Okay.
More of the woohoo version,
Uh-huh.
but I think that's describing an energy field. So,
Yeah. It's also interesting how like medically people will allow aura to exist like with migraines,
yes,
but only that.
makes no sense.
They're like, we'll allow this woohoo stuff
Yeah.
here,
Yes.
but nowhere else.
In this very small space, we have decided to
As like a
accept
symptom
it.
of something
Yes.
Right.
And you're seeing it because something's wrong.
with your brain, right?
Yeah, not because
Or your
yeah,
vestibular system. Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
Okay. So everything has an aura
Hmm.
because everything is energy. So, like I said before,
Correct.
a place can have an aura.
Mhm.
A piece of art can have an aura.
Dynamic can have an aura.
Yes,
right.
exactly. A party, a gathering
Yeah.
has an aura
Mm-hmm.
to it.
Right.
I think of aura
Absolutely.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also the energy of it.
Yeah.
Like I've walked into a gathering or a party before and been like, the vibes are off.
Yeah.
Pivot turn, let's go.
Yeah.
But I've also walked in and thought, like, what a beautiful, like atmosphere, aura to this place.
Yep.
So it's interesting where, to me, I'm more drawn to saying aura if it's like good.
Good. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe because the word's pretty. I'm not really sure.
This is interesting.
So there's actually not any dispute over whether or not auras are a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone believes, or like science, everyone's like, yes, auras are a thing. Okay?
Yep.
The dispute lies on whether they reflect your state of being, personality, health, etc., or not.
Right.
That's the dispute.
Of course.
Aura's a thing.
Yeah.
Do they have meaning? Question mark. It reminds me of like astronomy versus astrology.
Right.
Like,
right.
we all agree that
There
there's
are
planets
stars in the
and
sky,
stars and they
right.
have energy and they do things.
Right.
But like, as far as how it affects humans and that, like, we don't want to talk about that.
Right.
Like, there's these weird lines drawn
Yep.
when you start crossing into intuitive elements and
Mhm.
emotional elements of things. And this is no different.
Agreed.
Okay, there's also cultural differences assigned to different meanings and concepts when you go to talk about auras,
Okay.
when you go to talk about energy fields. So one of the things that we're going to talk about when we go through the layers and stuff is how they connect to the chakras. But the thing is, they don't connect to the chakras. They are the same thing as the chakras. It's just chakra is the name of it in one part of the world.
Yes.
Energy center is the name of it in another part of the
Right.
world. Layers to your aura is the description of it in another part of the world. It's just all these different places. So it's all the same thing.
Yep.
And I would just be aware
Mm-hmm.
is it an open practice, the one I'm using, or not? Chakras are a tricky one,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because most people say chakras are an open practice. But
Yeah.
there's been plenty of people like culturally appropriating all things from like Indian culture for a long time. So
Yes.
it's sort of one of those things where it's like, my ancestors would have said energy centers, and that's really not a hard leap to make.
Yeah.
I say chakras sometimes because that's how I learned them.
Yeah.
But like I try to be very mindful of that and like let me comma and put some other terms in
Yeah, I agree.
when I state it.
Yeah,
so
same.
just keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Reading auras is generally done for people.
Yes.
I have never seen someone be like, let me do an aura reading on your home.
No.
But I have had people be like, let me do an energy reading and cleanse or clearing of your home.
Right. Yes.
So again, another way to differentiate a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I think what the people really get excited about when it comes to like talking about auras or having a reading or learning about them is the colors and the layers.
Right.
I read through so many of these. Not everyone agrees on these. Again, these were done in this is like pagan concepts. So in different cultures, they're all done relatively similar, but with slight differences.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make one wrong or right. Like look through what resonates with you, what makes sense, use that.
Yeah, and it's also like everything about intuition is personal. And so like you could look up a list of what aura colors mean, but like if you start reading auras, you might find that like, oh, this color I noticed means for me X, Y, and Z for this for people.
Exactly.
Right? Like your own intuition, if it's clairvoyance, more than likely, your clairvoyance might create its own pattern or its own like system.
Absolutely.
Let's just pay attention to like what you're seeing.
We have an episode on tarot cards.
Yes.
Please go and listen if you haven't. But one of the things is like, for me, when I get the Joker card in tarot, it doesn't necessarily mean what the Joker card means. It means what I know the Joker card means. Like it's a different thing. Does that mean the Joker card description is wrong?
No.
No. Does it mean I'm wrong? No.
No.
I think about both.
Right.
But if you always get a certain feeling for red aura and it's not in the description, that doesn't mean you should disregard it.
Exactly.
So there you go. So when you look through, you'll find all different ones. I went through and decided that I liked this article by Cheryl Crumpler, in Healthline was
Okay.
where the article is published. So I liked these best, so I'm using hers
Okay.
and giving her credit.
Okay.
I liked them the best. Okay. All right. So again, these colors vary, but let me talk about what each one is. Red, grounded, energetic, strong-willed. Orange, adventurous, thoughtful, considerate. Yellow, creative, relaxed, friendly. Green, social, communicator, nurturing. Blue, intuitive, spiritual, free thinker. Indigo, curious, spiritually connected, gentle. Violet, wise, intellectual, independent. Now, did you notice anything about those colors being red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet?
It's a rainbow.
Huh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's like it's all connected.
That's all. Exactly.
Okay, so the reason that I like this list is that it doesn't name any quote unquote negative emotions.
I was just gonna say that I've seen so many that when the color red comes up, it means aggressive.
Aggressive, rage, out of control.
Right. Angry, which I'm sure it could.
It definitely could. But that's
Right.
why I liked strong-willed, because
Right.
it sort of covers it all. Because if you only think of red as angry,
Mhm.
then if you could have like a reading and you've got red and you're like, I'm not angry, but maybe you're feeling like really energized or really intense about something, like that's going to still show up that way.
Yeah.
And you're going to miss the meaning of it if you're just like
Focus.
associate. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing red. I like angriness, but like I
You do.
understand some people are
Yeah.
not as comfortable with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. Now I'm going to go through the layers.
Okay.
Let's see if... No, I won't spoil it. I'll just tell you right away that they all are exactly the same as the chakras. Okay?
Oh, okay.
I won't try to make it like a guess.
Okay.
So I'm going to go from the bottom to the top on where it starts, and it starts like right down like in between your hips.
See the root.
Exactly.
Got it.
So the first one is the physical layer, which is the root chakra.
Okay.
And guess what color it is? Red. Like it's the same. Yeah.
It's the rainbow.
Mm-hmm. Emotional. The next one is sacral layer, sacral chakra. Emotional layer, solar plexus chakra. Astral layer, heart chakra. Spiritual layer, throat chakra. Intuitional layer, third eye. Absolute layer, crown chakra.
Okay.
Same thing. Exact same thing. Colors, chakras, energy centers, all meaning the same thing.
Right.
So I feel like we complicate stuff by sometimes saying like you can get an aura reading and then you can also get a chakra reading. And it's kind of like, be
Right.
careful because these are all the exact same thing.
Again, it's just a tool
Yes.
to perceive the energy.
Yeah, if you like one better than the other, go with that. But
Right.
have an understanding that they're the same.
Right.
So when someone's speaking to you about it, you know that. Or you
Correct.
don't pay for both a chakra reading and an aura layer reading.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is I feel like you could actually have two practitioners who don't realize that they're offering the same thing, because
Yeah.
that one person might only understand auras and the other person might only understand chakras or energy centers,
Mhm.
and they might not realize that they're actually intuiting
Yeah,
the same, or they're perceiving or whatever the same energy.
yeah.
It's just through slightly different modalities.
And it speaks to the thing that drives us crazy, which is people sort of like calling themselves a practitioner or an expert at something without having done research on it.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, you're not going to know every single thing. You might have missed an element, or
Right.
maybe you were taught by someone who didn't include that. You didn't
Right.
think outside the box, but now you know better, so you do better.
Mhm.
It's fine. We all do stuff like that.
Mhm.
We're
Yeah.
we're not innocent in that.
No.
You know what I mean? It's not
No.
a judgment.
No.
But it's just like it really bothers us when you see someone who's like calling themselves a practitioner or an expert in an unregulated field who has not hit the Google button to go like,
Right.
what other cultures might use this? Where is this from?
Right.
Like, what else could this be called? And knowing that basic information
Yeah.
when they do it,
Mhm.
that's irresponsible.
It is.
So, okay. And then I just want to say there are really two ways that people give or receive aura readings. And the first is intuitively through the clairs.
Yeah.
and the second is with something called aura photography, which we mentioned before.
Yep.
So I think we should take a quick little break.
Okay.
But when we come back, I want to tell you about aura photography, and I'm going to read you something.
Mhm.
I would like to know if your photographer mind understands it.
Oh, okay.
Because I read so much about what aura photography is and how it actually works,
Mm.
probably like a good 45 minutes, and I have no idea.
Oh,
So maybe you'll
I
you'll
probably
get it.
don't, but we'll give it a shot.
We'll give it a shot. Let's take a quick break.
We'll be right back after this short break. You know what goes great with podcast listening?
A great cup of coffee from a great coffee shop.
Yep, beans roasted in-house, amazing baristas. You know where I'm talking about.
Restoration Coffee. Can we go?
Yes, I need an Americano and maybe a panini too.
Ooh, I need blueberry maple latte and probably a resto bowl.
Ooh, yeah, check them out and visit restoration-coffee.com.
Let's talk about what we're obsessed with this week. All right, Heather. This week I want you to share with the class
Ooh,
about, because we are perimenopausal women.
we are.
And I feel like a lot of our listeners, according to the analytics, are also perimenopausal or will be.
A bunch of hormonal women.
Yeah, like a lot of
Yeah.
us are, I fear.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering if you could share about this like new plan you have about
Yeah.
how to deal with all of these symptoms that are,
Mhm.
I mean, I think a lot of us are experiencing a lot of symptoms and now just realizing that like they're even related to perimenopause or menopause.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
no
that
one's even
game.
talking about it.
It's
like,
that game, right? Like, do I have like an illness? Do I
Yeah.
have cancer? Is it hormones?
Am I ADHD? Am I autistic?
Yeah.
Am I perimenopausal?
Do I have the flu? Like, yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well, I would just want to start with two things. First, I want to say that I'm talking about this as someone who's trying stuff, who's learning from experts. I am not an expert, and
Right.
neither is Jamie, but
No.
we are hormonal women who do research and talk a lot about these kinds of issues. So that's my first disclaimer.
I would like to interrupt you just for a second
Yeah.
to say that I think we should add that Dr. Mary Claire Havers,
Yes.
she's an expert.
Yeah.
And if you're listening and thinking that doesn't apply to me,
Yes.
it actually might.
Yeah.
Because
you're right.
the window of actually like when you can like really begin showing symptoms of perimenopause can be as early as 35,
Exactly.
which is when I started showing them and had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So it actually might apply to you. I think we're taught that
It doesn't.
you're like 50, 55,
Yeah,
60. Like
right.
you're actually symptomatic probably
Mhm.
around like 35 or 40. So
I
just so
think
you know.
if you're a woman who has ever had her hormones feel out of balance,
Mhm.
you can relate,
Yes.
and this can be helpful.
Yeah.
So I'll add that
Yeah.
in too. And so the other thing is that, I mean, I'm a researcher, so like
Mhm.
I'm a good candidate of a person to be like, let me learn and then try to
Try.
make a plan.
Right.
That's naturally something that I would want to
Mhm.
do, right?
Yep. Yes.
But I think both you and I are people of a sort of rebellious for a patriarchal landscape
Yes.
mindset of like, if you tell me I just need to suffer with perimenopause, or when I'm saying I'm struggling with something and you're just naming it perimenopause and not offering me any solutions or help, or telling me I should just become old and unhappy with my body and not feel good and disappear into the background of society, people like Jamie and I are going to decide, well,
No.
watch out, because
Right.
now we're going to step right to the front of the fucking class and we're going to make a lot of noise about it.
Right.
Don't you dare tell me that I have to do
Right.
that. So this isn't like coming from a place of, I want to look 20 again,
No.
which is what people present.
No. It's like I don't want to feel like shit anymore.
Yes, but people sort of act like, oh, you want to change the way you're eating and working out so you can be thin and young. And like,
No.
okay, but like, no, that's really not my motivation.
No.
I just want to feel good
Mhm.
mentally, physically, in my body,
Mhm.
all of the things. So that's where this comes from.
Yeah, and I think that to your point, like people will say like, oh, you said the other day, like, oh, well, I guess that's aging for you, or like, welcome to aging. It's
Right.
like, yes, yes, this is a symptom of aging. This does happen when women age.
Mm-hmm.
But just because that is true doesn't mean we should just be like, and I give up.
Yes.
Like, yes, we are getting older, and because we're getting older, our bodies are changing, our brains are changing, and so we need to change
Yes.
what we're doing to them and putting in them.
And the messaging to anyone aging, but especially to aging
Is to
women,
give up.
is to give up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something you need to accept.
Yep.
And, oh, it's just because I'm old. But to me, and then you sort of like go to a war with your own body and brain as it ages.
Yes.
I'm not interested in that.
No. Same.
Go to war, like how patriarchal is that?
It is.
It's actually just that now that I'm older and I'm entering into perimenopause, maybe you're entering into menopause. Also, this would all apply to you as well.
I
Okay.
gotta be close to that.
I think, yeah, it's all coming quickly. You just need, your body requires a different level of care. It requires different kinds of care.
Yeah.
So yes, when you were 20 and you slept on the wrong pillow, you would wake up and you would be fine. But when you're in your 40s and you sleep on the wrong pillow, you can't turn your neck.
You can't.
But it isn't because there's something wrong with you and you should just accept defeat. It's because you need different things. Your body needs different things to recover and to feel good.
Yes.
So this was our mission. Like, what do we find out? So Dr. Mary Claire Haver and Dr. Jolene Brighton were two of my favorite resources. If you want to go find experts, those are great.
Yep.
I read a bunch of books. I'll shout out Melissa Neal. I got her book. She has a YouTube channel if you want to check that out. And I learned basically that women in perimenopause and menopause, our bodies deal differently with protein.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't want to get into like overly describing that.
No.
But you need to eat a lot of protein. What you need is different. So I started the quote unquote diet.
Yeah.
Which
it's a meal plan.
It's a meal plan. I don't love the word diet.
I hate it.
But
I don't.
It tells you sort of like you eat, say, just generally like 45% protein, 35% carbs, and like 20% fat. I don't know if that maths, but like in general, okay?
Right.
I keep percentages. But it's also about understanding how cortisol is like happening in your body. So things are causing you to feel stressed that you don't realize. And like that was happening in my body, but it wasn't reading in my like autistic brain as stress. It was just reading as like feeling depleted or feeling like it was hard to do things.
Tired.
Yeah. So like I stopped running because that was on the list of things that like trigger cortisol when you are in perimenopause or menopause. So there's all these different things you can look at. And so I started doing it. Instantly felt better. Instantly. Like
within a week you felt better.
Absolutely. And not just like, so part of it is full disclosure, I do have on my list of things to lose a couple pounds. Again, not my main concern, but they teach you how to do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's also like you can learn to maintain, but instantly my stomach felt better. I felt less inflamed, bloaty, like all of that. And the cognitive difference you noticed in me right away of just being able to stay focused and on topic and not talk in a circle. So like all of these things are helpful. So I think the point is like you don't have to just give up.
No, that's the point. We're not here to sell you anything. Like,
no, I don't have anything to sell you.
Go do this thing. I mean, like you can check out the people that Heather mentioned.
Yes.
We do trust them.
Yes.
But this isn't a sales pitch. This is a don't give up pitch. This is like, don't listen when the patriarchy wants you to just give up and wants to give up on you.
Yes.
And you to give up on yourself.
Yes.
Don't. Like you deserve to feel well.
And like we always say, do it your way. We are doing it very differently.
Right.
Okay. If you're like me and you're a researcher and you need every piece of information and then you create a detailed plan for yourself, then do it that way. If you're like Jamie will be like, give me one thing this week.
Tip. What's the tip this week?
Yeah. You don't want me to go on and on about all the things you have to do. You'd quit instantly. Here's what you can try this week. Like just figure that out for yourself and do it your way. You don't have to feel shame because like doing it a way someone says
doesn't work. For you, right?
Maybe someone's 10-step program would work for you.
Yes.
Maybe it wouldn't. But like just be open and do what works for you. But like you said, don't give up.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, aura photography. I'm going to tell you who invented it, and I'm going to try to tell you a little bit about it. But when I tell you, I found so many different articles about these people. Everyone said completely different things about them.
Of course. Yeah.
I couldn't really confirm exactly. So I'm gonna do my best. Okay. As always, feel free to write in if you know more about this than us. Okay. So aura photography began in 1939.
Okay.
Way earlier than I thought, if I'm honest. I would have guessed the 70s, but that's what. Okay. The people who are credited with inventing it are Semyon, and it's Semyon, and Valentina Kirlian, Kirlian.
Okay.
They named it Kirlian photography.
Okay.
Now, different accounts of the backgrounds of these people existed everywhere, so I think this is my best guess. Semyon was an electrical engineer, and Valentina was a teacher and a journalist, or she was a biologist. I don't know. Okay. These people were in the Soviet Union, but I'm not exactly sure what it was in the 30s as I'm talking, if it was the Soviet. That area is where they were from, okay? Most cases of what this is you put your hands on a plate, and that plate registers auratic data. And most people use a camera that was invented in the 70s, like I referenced before, called an Auracam 6000. Okay. Okay. I read so many things about what the hell is happening. I read the sciencey stuff. I read the camera stuff. I don't get it. I believe that you're capturing an aura in the picture. I am not a denier of it. No. But I don't understand the science because no one could explain it to me.
I don't really feel like I need to know the science.
Well, I'm going to tell you. Anyways.
I don't know if I care about it.
Well, as a photographer,
I know you
Jamie,
care about it.
Well, I'd like to be able to understand how something works. Mm-hmm. If someone says to me, should I get aura photography done? I'd like to say, like, no, that's bullshit. Don't waste your money.
That I'm on board with, but I don't really need to understand, like, yes. I'll let the science catch up.
Yeah, or at least a general understanding of what's happening. Yes. I don't have any of that. Mm-hmm. Sorry. I did try.
I'm sure you did.
But I'm going to read you a quote from a Cosmopolitan article by Sarah Potter. Mm-hmm. This is describing the way the photography works. Okay. So I'm wondering if you, as a photographer, could sort of understand any of this, because I didn't get it. Okay. So here's her quote from Sarah Potter. Okay. In this system, the camera is hooked up to 2 charged metal plates containing biofeedback sensors. A subject places their hands on the sensors as the camera opens for a long double exposure, creating both a headshot and a visual, colorful auric capture layered on top.
So they're putting their hands down, like, on the plate, but the photo's actually of their face.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Yeah. That I didn't even know that their hands were touching something. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. No, I don't understand. Okay. No. I mean, I sort of get it. I get what it's saying in theory, but I don't actually understand how the camera would capture that. I don't understand the science of that.
And have you, in all of the times you've taken pictures of people, have you ever accidentally captured an aura?
Yes.
Okay. So, like,
I mean, you do it on your iPhone. Like, yeah, you can see the orbs and the auras and, like, that. I mean, it's probably the same thing.
Something with the exposure and the light?
Well, I think yes. In that case, yes, it's the exposure and the light, the way the light is hitting the camera and being interpreted by the camera. But if you're adding, like, hands that are touching, that are then inputting into the camera, that actually sounds more legit to me. That makes me believe in it more.
100%. Like, obviously you're doing something to pick up from a frequency of the person. Right. And I think there's a lot of things like Reiki and stuff where, like, the hands are sort of like the way you output energy. I think that's kind of a natural thing. Mm-hmm. I get it. I don't dispute it. No. I just don't really understand.
You can't fully explain it.
Yeah. It does give me a little bit of the vibes of those weird Scientology tests where you put your hands on the things.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. But I don't think it's the same technology.
It's Scientology related.
Okay.
Yikes.
All right. So I have some additional points to discuss that I found in research and what people were asking about and all that stuff. And things I just think we should mention. just because you are strong in certain clairs
Mm.
does not mean you can sense auras.
Mhm.
This is something that like some people have the ability to sense or see auras and some people don't.
Mhm.
I don't.
I don't either. And like I've seen things online that try to teach you to do it. And
Yeah.
I just can't.
No.
It's like look at a white wall for like X amount of time, let your vision blur.
Yeah. But even the way my clairvoyance works the majority of the time is that I don't see with my outside eyes. So I have tried to see with my inner vision
Mhm.
a color around a person.
Mm.
But it's usually just like whatever they're wearing like extends off of them for some reason. So
Okay.
I just don't think that's one of my abilities. I think that there are people who have like more of a healer vibe to them.
Mhm.
In my experience, tend to be more in tune with auras.
Mhm. Okay.
I think it just might be like purpose driven. I don't know. But anyways, if you're super clairvoyant and you're like shaming yourself because you can't see auras,
Don't do that.
don't worry
please.
about it. It's just
Yeah,
a
no,
thing
don't do
some
that.
of us can do and some people can't.
Yeah.
Do I think everyone could probably figure out how to do it if they tried? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I think for some people they're more naturally dialed into it? Also, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Also, like, I feel like we don't talk enough about anything clairvoyant if you're using your outside eyes. The most often place you're going to experience it is in like your peripheral vision.
Okay.
Because if I'm saying like, have I ever seen an aura or a flash of light with my outside eyes? The answer is yes, but not anything I was staring at. Like out of the corner of my eye, I saw something
Yeah.
fly by, or
Right.
suddenly I saw a flash of light and then I turned my head and then someone walked in. Those types of things have
Yeah.
happened. I actually think when you're like focused with your outside eyes, it's harder to use your clairvoyance.
Mhm.
That might not be a universal experience. Just a few people I know who are clairvoyant will tell you that.
Yeah, I would
Think-
agree with that.
That's why you see clairvoyant people like making weird faces or staring
Okay.
off, you know,
Right,
glazing over because they're using their other vision. So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind. People who will say they have seen a spirit with their outside eyes
Mhm.
will often say that in their peripheral, they saw what looked like an outline of a person.
Mhm.
So a white or a black,
Or
most typically. That's an aura
Right.
that you saw.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, we don't always tie these things together, but they're all
interconnected.
exactly. Okay. Aura field trickery. We just have to address.
Yeah.
Okay. I do think that some people can mask their auras.
Mhm.
And I think it has to do with their own belief of themselves or their intentions. Like, I think some people have the ability to convince themselves
Okay.
that they have like great intentions or they're here to be a healer. And when that works, I think it can affect your aura.
Okay.
So I'm saying this because there are people who have become victims of con artists, of cult leaders, of narcissists, and they are intuitive people
Mhm.
who, whether they saw the aura or sensed the energy field, will swear to you
Mm.
how authentic it seemed and felt and looked.
Great point.
So I
Great.
just want you to know, like, there is a level, in my opinion,
Mhm.
of trickery that can happen there.
Management of it that you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I think you can keep it up super long? No, I think there's going to be some cracks in the armor real soon. I think if you're critically thinking and really paying attention, you're going to notice other things mismatching energetically. But I do think that, like, there have been people I've met before and I was like, wow, this seems like they're really, really nice. And all these people around think they're so nice, but something is not sitting right in my system about it. And it's like, but the literal energy coming at me is nice, but there's just something that doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
This happens to Jamie, I think, like every day. But
Mm-hmm.
just trust that
Yes.
more than anything else.
Right.
Okay.
Because it's your energy.
Yeah.
It's like you're acting. It's like you're
Yes.
acting with your energy. Like
Yes.
if you want to present a certain mask or a certain like presentation of your energy, if you want it enough or you're like powerful enough, I guess,
Yeah.
you can manage how your energy feels.
Absolutely. I
Like-
mean, that's what state is you
Exactly.
learn how to
Right.
pull that on. So could
Right.
you use that to trick people?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a lot of work, to be honest. I told you,
Oh,
like,
it's exhausting.
I think I have the skill set to be a cult leader, but I don't
Yeah,
have the
it's
energy
gotta be
level for it. That
exhausting.
sounds terrible, but
No,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Another thing that I thought was interesting, and I have seen this not necessarily in an aura, but I've definitely seen it in an energy field. But there were a lot of accounts of people talking about misreading someone's aura
Mm-hmm.
because they were sort of absorbing too much energy from the people around them.
Okay.
So because I don't really see aura, I haven't had that experience,
Mm.
but I have had the experience of being like, why does that person's energy field feel like almost dead? Like, why is it so low?
Mhm.
And then seeing there was someone next to them that they were just like absorbing
Sucking
all their
off,
stuff. And
right.
it just makes someone's energy field feel really clunky. Like
Mhm.
someone absorbing all the stuff around them,
Mhm.
they feel like heavy energetically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
I think you could misread someone's aura if they were absorbing all the energy around them. They didn't have great boundaries with that.
I also think that there's like an issue of proximity. Like
Yeah.
when you were talking, I was thinking about like a parent holding a child, like a baby.
Yes.
That like if you did like an aura photography on a mother and a child,
Yeah.
it might look like the aura is all one color because
Yes.
you're in the same technically energetic body,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Or they might like at the point of connection
Mm-hmm.
blend colors a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Because like
It's feeding
they're
off of each
mixing,
other.
right?
Exactly. I actually Googled to see if this was a thing. Of course this was not a thing. Okay. I wanted to know, like, I want someone to take a picture of my aura when I'm doing stuff, but I don't know they're taking my picture. Because I guarantee you, even if I tried not to, I would try to alter my energy field, my aura to like look
Yes.
a certain way for the camera.
Yes. You would absolutely do that.
But I think everybody does on some
to some
level.
level, yeah.
Like, oh, you're taking my picture? I don't think I want to look like I'm a garbage human right now.
Or you could do the opposite. Like if you were like, this is bullshit. I'm gonna like
Cross my arms and be mad about
That's
it.
gonna affect your energy.
Yes.
Yes.
I would like
That's
someone
how
to
energy
take.
works.
Yeah, I would like when someone needs to be grounded. I want someone to take a picture of them right then, and then
When someone's pissed.
yeah, and then like they go
Right.
and ground their energy, and then they come back and then take a picture again. Those are the kinds of things I'm interested in.
Yes.
Because the snapshot of your aura is affected by your mood, what you're going through.
Mhm.
Like, are you hungry? Are you hormonal? Do you need
Yes.
protein? Like,
Of course.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
so I just find that interesting.
Yes.
And you're always going to have a moment of like insecurity when someone's taking your picture to like analyze you.
Yes.
So of course something's going to come up that's not maybe how you would just be.
Right. But that's
Mhm.
also why it's important to understand what aura photography is, so that like you aren't expecting some like glimpse into the deepest parts of your soul and reveal the inner healer in you.
Yeah.
Like in aura photography is reading your energy. What's your energy doing in your body? How are you feeling? Feelings are energy.
Yeah.
So it's going to read that. You know what I mean? So like you have to understand what you're getting involved with.
Yes. Because you could be like, oh, I've got purple energy field. I'm going to make that my whole
I'm the
personality.
high priestess.
And my job.
Right.
Right. And it's like, well, in that moment you
Yes,
did. But
right.
I don't think it's just like a personality type. Like you just
I don't
have
think so
that.
either.
I think it's just a reflection of the state you're in at the time.
Yes.
So
Right.
you have all of the colors
Mhm.
because you have all of the energies.
Right.
Okay.
Agreed.
The other thing is there are a lot of accounts of doctors, medical professionals, even some like clergy
Mm.
talking about the white auras that come out of people when they die. That they
Oh.
see like a
Okay.
white, like light colored,
Yeah.
full of light colored aura.
Mm-hmm.
Many accounts of that.
Mhm.
So
I believe it.
I do too,
Yeah.
honestly. And then last, some people do sell aura cleanses online.
Yes.
That is the same as like getting energy. That's
That's
Reiki.
energy work.
Yeah. So cool,
Right.
as long as you understand that's what that is.
Yes.
It's a real thing, but it's not a different thing.
You can also do it yourself.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, pay
Not
someone.
with sage.
No.
No.
And pay someone if you want a professional to do it. I'm not saying don't do that. But like,
Absolutely.
you can clear your energy right now just sitting here. If you think
Done.
right.
Yeah. So real, yes, but not different. So don't pay for both a chakra,
Just understanding what you're paying for.
a chakra like Reiki session, and pay extra money for them to also cleanse your aura because
Yes. The Reiki is doing that.
You're already
Yes.
doing that. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Any final
That's a
thoughts?
good point. No.
I think that you and I just talked about in the break that we wanted to go get some aura photography done.
No, we're gonna.
Okay, so we'll post our pictures probably
100%.
over the summer break.
Summer break,
we'll post
yeah.
them for you. Okay.
Yes.
My aura is telling me I need coffee. What
Coffee.
about you?
Sure.
All right, let's go.
Hey everyone, Heather and I have an ask for you. If you love this episode or if you love the IGG, can you do us a favor? We need you to go onto whatever platform you listen on and download, subscribe, like, love, whatever it's asking you to do. Can you go do those things for us on the platforms that you listen on? It would mean so much to us.
Thanks for listening to our episode. For a way to get in touch with us, please visit our website, intuitivegirlsguide.com. We love hearing your feedback on our episodes.